Hello. Right, what do I have? I've got a shelf full of stuff that needs to be repaired. There's a heat wave forecast in the next few days to next week or so. Not as hot as we had recently, but one of the things on my shelf is a fan from my dad. So I'm going to tackle this today. Quite a common fault that comes into Repair Cafe. So let's have a look and see what's wrong. So he tells me it doesn't turn on. So maybe a mechanical issue, maybe electrical. So let's have a look. My dad's coming to Manchester this weekend, so I want to be able to give it him back. So I've had it for a couple of weeks now. So turn it on there. Plug it on, trying all the switches, nothing's happening. Is it my imagination? It feels like the housing of the motor is trying to do something. Okay, so it kind of feels like it's attempting. And what that typically tends to be is dust and dirt gets onto the axle of the fan and it just gets a bit clogged up. So it probably just needs a clean. So let's take it apart, give it a test. Gosh, these clutches are quite stiff, so that might be an indication of how old this is. So I don't really want to take it apart much more than I already have. So what I think I'll do, I'll just give this a blast out with some compressed air, give it a bit of oil down the shaft here. Let's have a listen. Yeah, nothing too bad. So I'll get that done off camera. So I'm just going to put some drops of oil down here, but also I'm going to just give this a blast out with some compressed air from an air blower to get rid of any dust, and then we'll see if it starts up a bit better. Okay, so the spindle spins more freely, but even if I try, it's not starting. So I have to give it just a little bit to get it going. That's going to do it now, isn't it? Okay, maybe it's just the oil was taking a little while. So one thing it could be, yeah, that didn't start. So one thing it could be, on the side here, there's little startup and run capacitor. So if that has failed, or if it's performing slightly less, it just may not have enough oomph to get this going. So let's get a bit deeper into this. So what's that say? 112 picofarads. Let me just double check my maths. It's definitely off. 1 microfarad. I'm sure this said 1 microfarad. Yeah, 1 microfarad should be 1,000,000 picofarads, and it's 100. Right. Well, there's your answer. Let me just try the ESR meter. Not that I don't think it will measure something this small, to be honest. Where did I put the thing? It's not even going to read that. Monitoring for component, can't even find it. Right, okay. So, dead capacitor. This is what keeps the fan running and starts it up. So, gonna have to get a new one. I'll get one ordered when it arrives. We can get it fitted and see what happens. Right, okay. So, the new capacitors have arrived. So, all I need to do is I couldn't get the exact correct size for the capacitors, so I have had to get. They said they were 0.5 microfarads, but they're actually 0.47, which is a little bit frustrating. But anyway, you know, the description's one thing. They'll be good enough. They'll be good enough. So what I'm going to do is glue them together. So I'm gonna have to clip off one bit of the capacitor so I can glue it together, fit it onto the fan and see if this will work, but it should do. It wants 1 microfarad. The 1 microfarad capacitors were not available till the end of the month, so 3 or 4 weeks away, which would be way too late. They're predicting the heat wave. This may be a bit of a challenge because of I've got family round in a minute. My dad's here, but I want to get this fixed to give to my dad to take home. He lives like an hour and a half, 2 hours drive away, so it'd be really cool if I can get his fan fixed and take it down to him. So because I've got 2 capacitors that are half the power of what I need, ultimately they need to be connected in series. So connect them in series, 2 halves, make one, and then we should be good. Right, so how will I do this? Maybe if I prep the capacitors first. So I'm going to, if you see, they've got these sort of little bits on which help you attach them to the fan. So I'm just going to clip that off. Hopefully there's enough space in the housing to accommodate a slightly fatter capacitor. Oh, blimey. So I've got some flush cutters, just go against the piece of plastic, cut them off. I didn't expect it to pop off and fly across the room. So let me, I'm just going to glue them together, a little bit of super glue. See if this works. Okay, so a couple of dabs on there. Right, so if I just put those to one side, let them dry. A bit worried. It's one of those sort of plastics that seem to not like super glue. Oh no, they do. It does. It does. I've just probably got too much on there. So okay, so I'm going to pop that there. Let it set. I could do something that would actually clamp it down. I've got some mini clamps somewhere. Are they too mini? No. Oh, turned off. Hang on. Right, that's that side. Get one on the other side. So that's all clamped up. I'll leave that set. Then I will just get the rest sorted. So connect them in series, so it'll be one after the other, i.e. sort of it'll be an accumulation of the two capacitance, which will make 1 microfarad, more or less, and then we will be good. So I'll crack on with that. Fast forwarded through all that because I thought it's just a bit boring watching the reassembly process. But capacitor, 2 half microfarads glued together, joined in series, put onto the points where the old one was connected. So let's give it a go. Nothing. Now I did trip the power when I was doing this earlier. So let's just check that I've not blown the fuse in this plug socket. So just trying a different plug socket. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. So maybe the capacitor's in the wrong way round. That's a bit annoying. Okay, let's try again. I'm just going to check the fuse by just checking I've got continuity on the pins from the plug. Continuity check. What's the other colour that comes out here? So it's red. How is this wired up? Oh, okay, so it doesn't go directly to the so if I bridged any connections once I've been doing this. Nope. Ah, right, okay, we've got a cable that's loose. Let's come off altogether. Oh my days. Okay, let's just zoom that in for you. So when I've soldered on one of the capacitor wires, come on, focus. Is it going to focus? Nope. Let's point it elsewhere and then try back. Is it too close? Let's just move it back a little bit. Yeah, when I've connected the capacitor wire, it's gone and desoldered the end of this. So that is most likely what's wrong. Okay. Back to it. There we go. Cool. Oh, it's nice and strong as well. I can feel that's a massive difference, even without anything attached. Right. Let's just check this plug socket as well. That's good. I've not blown my plug socket, which is good. Let's just get the oscillator. Not sure what this is called, but the device that allows it to oscillate back and forth. One thing I'm not happy about is the length of the wires from the capacitors, so I have to do something about that as well. Let's see if we can get it all back together, make it work, and then I can consider whether to do something about that capacitor or not when I see it inside the housing, because it should sit down just down here, but those wires are too short. Yeah, good. Right, just putting the last piece on now. I'm trying to think, is this a simple repair or not? It's very fiddly, you know, lots of bits to open and close, I guess. The real challenge here is the soldering skill and measuring the capacitance of that run capacitor. So, bit of a faff, bit of a fiddle. I think if I did one again, I'd probably be a little bit quicker because I think I'll take my time on the disassembly of the motor a bit more. Maybe even wait for the exact right capacitor, but that would have meant wait until the end of the month because of, for some reason, 1 microfarad fan capacitors are not that common. It seems that most of them are kind of like 1.5, 2 microfarads upwards. I did have a look around to see if I could get away with a higher rated capacitor, and there were lots of sort of views saying yes, you know, 1.5 will work, but eventually it will probably burn out your motor and things like that. So best to stick to the right rating. You can go over the voltage on the capacitor, never go under. And voltages are just there to tell you what voltage you can put through them. So if you get a lower rated capacitor from a voltage point of view, and you put more voltage through it, you'll just blow up or burn out the capacitor. But if you've got higher rated capacitor and you put lower voltage through it, not a problem at all. So right, let's one final test. Lovely, and rather good because it's getting very warm here today. So I think it's already 24 and it's midday. So another heat wave on its way. Get this to my dad for at the end of the week. Happy days. Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching.